What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Alex Tucker. My Instagram is @selectmx_. Thank you for watching. In the last video, we got a nice bit done. We put our engine in the frame, put on the swing arm, did the wiring, checked for some spark. Tonight, what we've got ready is we've got our rear shock ready to go, our rear linkage, and we've also got the triple clamp. So since the swing arm is already on, I figured it's just as well to finish up the linkage and shock and stuff, kind of get that buttoned up. So we're just going to get to it and start slapping this thing together. So I basically got everything laid out, ready to go. Everything's greased up, cleaned up. The rear link is all clean, shined up, but there's some grease on it, so I'll probably wipe that down after it's installed. All of our bolts and stuff are greased. I packed the bearings for the triple clamp with grease, and our shock is good to go, so we're ready to start putting it together. Alright, so while we're up here at the triple clamp, we're just going to install our bar mounts. And the cool thing about this is we actually have two holes to choose from, and the bar mounts are actually flippable as well. So, you can give a little bit, take a little bit here and there. So I'm going to start in the furthest back hole position, but with the bars brought slightly forward. So it's fairly neutral until we're ready to make like those fine adjustments. And obviously it's going to be easier to tighten this stuff down once there's a wheel on the bike. So next we're just going to install the lower rear link here. Be super careful because the bike is really front heavy since we've added the triple clamp. Alright guys, we're ready to pop this linkage through. That's one. That's two. Alright guys, now we're going to put in our rear shock. So we're just going to drop her in down here. That's the top one. Just grab our lower one. There we go. Alright guys, I decided while we're back here, it'd be cool just to install the rear master cylinder to kind of see how this Cerakote matches up on these brakes. Alright, let's get a socket and tighten that stuff down. Alright guys, that is looking sweet on there. All the Cerakote came out wicked. The only thing I might have to do is trim some length off this hose where it goes to the reservoir. I don't really like how clumsy that looks right now. I wish this would focus. Yeah. Like it just seems a bit excessive. I'd rather for just kind of like follow the line of the frame, so we'll probably have to make that adjustment in a little bit. What's up guys? Back out here again. It's a new day, so I've just been kind of chilling here for the last few moments, just taking in where this bike is right now. I'm so happy with how it looks. It's a very happy moment. So let me just show you guys where it is right now. So we've got our triple clamps installed. Engine is looking sick in the frame. We got our swing arm on. And last time we basically installed the shock. This thing came out pretty clean. I Cerakoted the spring. I just left the shock body the factory color. Didn't really need to be rebuilt, and I didn't really go through it more or less. This is more of a budget build, so trying to scavenge the things I can, I guess. We put on this rear master cylinder, which looks great, and also finished up our linkage down bottom. When I Cerakoted the lower link, I wish I had known what was going to be exposed. You can see up here, like, you can see where it was masked off. It's not a perfect circle. I should have just plugged the hole and Cerakoted the whole thing. Like, the tolerance of the coating is so thin, it would not have made a difference in fitting up anyway. Plus, the bearing that goes through there is actually what fits snugly into the mount on the frame, not the linkage itself. So now I know for next time, I suppose. And we're still waiting on our foot pegs to come in. Hopefully Canada Post comes clutch on that. And basically what I've been working on for today is I got this set of bars all cleaned up here. Wow, the lighting is really off. But yeah, they're that shiny in person too. They were previously just spray painted black. So what I did is I threw them in the sandblast cabinet and got all the old paint off. Then I went through the 2 stages of Prime MX pads and basically buffed it out to a smooth finish. And then I also have 2 different grit fine Scotch-Brite pads just in the square stuff. So I went down and did even more fine polishing by hand. And also I've got all of the GPI rad hoses ready to go, and as well as the GPI radiators. These things are going to look super nice on there. Wow. So that's the goal for now, is to get these radiators and hoses on. And once those are on, we're going to throw on the bars, and then we can possibly start running some things like the clutch cable, throttle cable, kill switch, just a few things like that, and get some of our controls dialed in. So I'm going to stop talking now and get to it. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with these radiators, and the first thing I'm going to do is start fitting the hoses to the engine itself. It's a little bit easier to do this kind of in advance, and then we have some room just to wiggle our radiators on before we actually mount them. Sometimes it helps also to put a little bit of like Windex or WD-40 or something just around the inside edge of your rad hose. And it looks like this clamp might be holding us back a little bit, so I'll just slide that up, loosen it off after. So that's that hose on all the way. Alright, and the next hose we're going to put on is this lower one here. Just get that snugged on, and we're not going to tighten our clamps down until the very end once all of our hoses and our rads are on. One of the things I forgot to mention, what I like to do with new rad hoses, and kind of just like a periodic cleaning thing anyway, is I take a bit of I take a paper towel with some WD-40 on it and just wipe down the hoses. It makes it a little bit easier for dirt to come off, so dirt doesn't stick to it easy. Just looks nice, looks shiny. So just a little something, a little habit of mine. Alright guys, one thing I just noticed was the difference in size for these two fittings. And you see this one here is like standard size, but this one here is slightly bigger than the other one. I'll just put them side by side so you can see. Like, this one's definitely larger than this one. And I have the stock one here. The same two like outlets are the same size, so it might be a little bit of a challenge getting this hose that is for this size on this size fitting. Like, you can see this size fitting is the same as this one, which is designed for a larger diameter hose. So I hope that's not really an issue, but we're going to definitely fit our hoses up to this rad first, like our center hoses, and mount up the left side rad, providing that we can make this happen. Alright guys, we had a minor technical difficulty. Turns out that this bolt hole here had a light strip in it. It was kind of cross-threaded and just jacked up. So I broke out the old tap and curse set and cleaned it up a bit, so it should be good to go now. So we'll throw that radiator on. Alright guys, so for this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the radiator into this hose first, then these two afterwards, probably this one second and this one third, since this one's has a little bit more movement. So let's hope this goes well. Alright guys, so we got the radiators on. They look great. The only issue I had was I really had to trim this hose here. I had to trim it twice. It was just a little bit too long, and it was kind of kinking up on one end. So it's pretty straight now. There's no pinches in it. Fits nice. So alright, so now we're just going to install our bars. Alright, so as you guys can tell, these are going to need some adjustment. There are the markings still on the bar mount, but the actual aligned numbers and centering lines on the handlebars are no longer there since they're just a raw finish. So I'm going to have to probably do some measuring just to make sure they're centered. Try and get it best we can. Alright guys, we're just going to slide on our clutch perch. We're not going to tighten that down too much. We'll just leave a little bit of play in there. We'll probably tighten it down after. Alright guys, now we've got our clutch cable here, so we're just going to get this fed in through. This will go up later. But before we get ahead of ourselves with adjusting any tension or anything like that, we're going to get it hooked up down on the engine. Alright guys, so after we mounted the clutch cable up in the clutch perch, it basically runs down here. You gotta slide the cable through the notch on this outer case cover here. It sits in there nicely, and it hooks in back around this arm. You want to make sure this here, the arm that actually actuates like the clutch movement, is lined up. So like you can see here, moves nice and smooth. And I ran the cable through here underneath this rad hose, up between the rad basically, through the holder in the frame, and then up to our clutch. And I did some adjustment on the cable, and then also some on the clutch perch as well. So it feels nice and snug. We got a bit of free play, but a good strong pull that's nice and smooth. So pretty stoked on that. Alright, so while we're up here, I'm just going to install our kill switch. So it'll fit down here like that. Alright, now that we have our clutch and kill switch installed, we're just going to slide on our front brake master cylinder. So we're going to leave it semi-loose so we can adjust it afterwards when we get working on our throttle. Alright guys, so we got our throttle tube here ready to go. This is like the ODI lock-on grip setup, so it comes with like the throttle tube built onto the grip and like the rotor for the cable that slides into it. So I did grease it up and put it in the housing. You'll notice the upper housing is brand new. The bottom one survived, but unfortunately the original upper mount was destroyed and cracked up pretty bad. So we've got a fresh unit on there, and you'd be surprised that that's like close to 40 bucks, I think. So it's odd sometimes what certain parts cost, but it's the way she goes. Alright, so now we're just going to get our throttle cable threaded in here. So you can see this cap here, it fits on over, but unfortunately it cracked off here, so it's supposed to extend down here where the second screw goes. I've got a new one of these on order, so when the when the not broken one comes in, we'll quickly swap that out. And I also have the rubber cap that goes on over this, so we'll have to make some changes after. But that's good for now, and we'll be able to get it put into our carb. So we're just going to pass this cable through the cap, and then we can thread it in. And make sure the plastic part lines up with the groove. There's a little plastic ring at the end of this spring, and it has to line up with the groove in the holder for the needle in order to work right. So we've got that all there. Now we can just pop the slide back into the carb. She's snappy. Alright guys, last thing we have to do for our control setup now is just to add on the last grip. And these ODI lock-on grips are so easy. I haven't ridden with them yet, but just installing them is a lot more easy going, I guess, than traditional grips. It's no mess, but hopefully they stay tight. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That is awesome. The only issue I could seeing is if, the people who don't take care of their bikes owning these grips and quickly stripping out these screws, then you got a grip that's stuck on the handlebars. I could see that not being so fun, but you're dealing with that whenever you have a bike that the previous owner or whatever didn't really take care of. So pretty satisfied for right now. Hopefully it performs well when we're riding. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, whatever you want to do. It's all good. My Instagram is @selectmx_. My name is Alex Tucker. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Going to be doing some more cool stuff with the YZ, but for now I've got to get to work changing some struts on this old Volkswagen here. So until next time, thanks again.